Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Anywhere But Here. I'm Ant.
And I'm Tom. We got that the wrong way around.
It's the other way round.
Yeah.
We're slightly distracted because we've realised that we get a few people
on YouTube.
So we're trying to address the camera, and by addressing the camera, I've just cocked up the intro.
Yeah. Well, I did. Saying that, I brought the camera with the view to try and do some sort of vlog. Maybe alongside, and I tried testing it out, trying to talk to myself on the camera,
right.
And it took me about half an hour up to get the courage up to address the camera, like trying to talk, and I was like, I'm deleting that, I'll give up on that idea.
That would have been an interesting behind the scenes.
Yeah, I did consider keeping it so we could kind of stick it on somewhere, but no, I deleted it. It was too bad. You get all tongue-tied. And
Yeah, I can imagine on your own it's a bit more difficult,
Yeah.
whereas here we're just kind of sideways glancing.
just look at the camera every couple of seconds, you'll be all right.
We're going to try to look a lot more and try and engage with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got stuff to show the camera.
Yeah, I think
so.
So,
If you are listening to this on your MP3 player
generic
or on your
MP3
computer,
device.
it may pay to go look at the video so you can actually see us, and that is at youtube.com/ABH podcast, I think.
Yeah.
See, is it / because some people say /? I think it is forwards.
It's forwards.
It's
That's
leaning
back,
forwards, isn't it?
Yeah. The one with the top bit to the left is back. Because it's leaning back, isn't
That's
it?
what I would have thought, yeah.
You read
But the
from
bottom's
left
going
to
forward,
right.
so like your feet lead. You lead with your feet,
Yeah,
so
but
if the bottom's going
if
forwards.
your feet was the bottom of the slash,
Yeah.
then you would be leaning backwards.
I suppose, yeah, so you're kind of back, yeah.
That's the way I've always said it.
But
Anyway,
yeah, this is episode 11
Yeah.
of Anywhere But Here. And he is Tom and I am Ant.
Yes, and for those of you who joined us last week with the Ben Copeland interview of Mooley, you might be wondering what the hell happened.
There's a nice way of putting it.
We're back to our kind of
Very loose format.
yeah,
Which is generally just us two chatting to each other about stuff that's happened this
which,
week.
Is the point, really. The last 2 weeks we've been blessed with quite interesting guests, both of whom brought something incredibly different to the table.
You could say that.
Yeah. Loz with his interesting stories of...
You almost said scatological
I nearly
stories
did,
again.
Yeah, I don't want to keep using that word.
No. Otherwise, we might have to start getting T-shirts that say scatological story on it.
And then Ben, of course, with his incredibly polished interview techniques.
Yeah, he was very good. And
So,
I do have to apologise. I did tell Ben to keep his mic close to his mouth, which I think caused some distortion. Although when I listened back to it, it wasn't that bad.
No,
I think it was just because I had it so loud in my headphones when I was monitoring, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt him and say, move your mic away from your mouth.
But also us trying to talk about microphone control to a guy who is a music producer.
Exactly. It kind of seems a bit...
It was a little bit kind of hypocritical of us, perhaps.
But yeah, it wasn't a problem. I don't think it affected it quite as much as...
No. There were a couple of points where it was a bit like... oh
my God. And you still didn't clip. Nice.
See, I'm learning. So this is week number 11. And we're back to the kind of... We're going to have a look at a couple of stories online, perhaps. We've brought in some stuff because we started a feature about 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah, you could say started.
It was rubbish, and I apologise for our first effort. Mine was lacklustre. You had an actual thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't an A.
No. So we're carrying on with the ABCs of ABH.
Yeah, I mean, we could open with it, I suppose.
Because
it does. My one does actually link to a story I was going to talk about anyway.
Okay.
I could use that B. I mean, I've got several Bs that I could use.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we start with the ABCs. Why did I have to name it?
We shouldn't have chosen this.
If we start with the ABCs, then I can kind of go with this story.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't look. I want it to be a surprise.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, do we want to start with? I mean, I think mine's going to be shorter than yours.
Yeah. I mean, I can wax lyrical on mine for a while.
So yeah, the ABCs. When we started it, we started with A.
Yeah.
And then we had 2 weeks where it was a guest, and the
Yeah.
idea is to bring something of interest.
Yeah, like a show and tell kind of thing. But
Yeah.
it's
Beginning with a letter, subsequent.
yeah.
Is that after?
The next letter of the alphabet.
Yeah, it's next letter. So we've done an A, and now 3 weeks later we're going to do a B.
Yeah. Obviously, leaving out any weeks where we've got special guests because we don't tend to have time. We were going to do it with Loz.
I mean, I suppose we can, if we think about it, we can ask the guest to bring in a B as well. True, yeah. Or bring in a letter as well.
Yeah.
I keep waving my arm.
Well, you're presenting now.
The one thing, waving my arm, I'm going to say, I don't know what was going on with my hands in the video last week. The video has just gone up. There's these super soft cushions that Ben had on his couch that I just kept playing. It was like a subconscious thing. I just kept playing with this cushion. See, and when I was watching the video back, like my 5-year-old daughter kind of was like, "Why'd you keep touching that cushion?" So, I don't know.
Because Daddy was off his tits on E.
Yeah. Oh, it's so soft. I can't stop rubbing. I imagine that's what happens. Isn't it Coke that gets you?
No, it's definitely
it is ecstasy that gets you. Like,
yeah.
Not hard drugs.
No, me neither. But I was on a night out with a guy who dropped 9 pills.
Oh my god.
We were out all night, so it was a thing to keep him up. But in the morning, we'd gone to Coco, which is a nightclub in Camden, just outside of Camden.
Yeah, it's quite a popular, club, isn't it?
I mean, we went there. There was a secret gig, and We As Scientists were playing, and that was pretty awesome stuff. But he was going to the toilet every couple of hours and popping another one. Won't say his name. But yeah, when we were at Waterloo Station the next morning, going back to High Wycombe, we were in a McDonald's, and he just had the collar of his coat up like this towards his face, and he was just rubbing his face like that, and he was like, "Oh, it feels amazing." And he actually, when we got back to Halls, I mean, we all nearly missed the train stop, the station, on the way home, and we got back to Halls. Apparently, he dropped another pill when he got to his room.
Why?
The rest of us went to sleep because we'd been up all night, but he popped another pill and
he wanted to stay awake
on his own little thing.
Oh
but
God.
Yeah, that's the one that makes you want to feel stuff, because he offered us to feel of his collar because of how amazingly great it feels. There's one picture from that night of me, and it's the only picture of me ever with a lip piercing. It was just after I got my lip pierced, which happened.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have mine done as well. Like, if you're watching a HD, you can probably see it.
Yeah.
The remnants of
I never got a scar because it was only in for like weeks. But it's me, my housemate Chris, and his girlfriend at the time. We went into one of those photo booths, and it's the most insane. It looks like 3 zombies. Just everyone's really pasty because they're really tired, all dark sunken eyes, and just like. Yeah, it was a good night, but yeah, that's E that does that too.
Yeah. I mean, I did have one experience. I think I only ever took half, because it was kind of like the first experience. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, so my friend was like, try half. And I think I did have the whole pill, but I had it like half, and then a couple of hours later I had the other half.
Right.
I mean, it didn't do. I mean, it's probably just because I took such a pissy little amount. It didn't actually do anything to me.
Mm.
But being peer pressure thing, you kind of play along with it. And kind of, can you feel it coming?
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, it's great. And then this is fucking. It's really not worth the risks that are associated with it.
No,
and the only other experience, not personal experience, I had, there was when we went to Reading Festival. One of our friends took the pill. She was told, take this. The pill. No, took some ecstasy. She was told, take one. If it doesn't work, like a couple of hours later, take another one.
Yeah.
But she took one and said, this isn't working. Took another one. The only problem is, quite clearly it was working because it was only about 20 minutes later instead of 2 hours. So she took 2 pills, and it was her first experience. And she just shredded the inside of her mouth where she just kept chewing her cheek.
Yeah.
It's fucking...
nasty.
Yeah. But the problem is, she got this pill from somebody in a friend of hers in another camp, and then came back to us, who she was camping with, and took the pill with us, but without telling us she was taking a pill.
Oh.
Like, taking the ecstasy. So it's like,
so when she started,
we didn't know what was wrong with her. And it's just like, how...
slightly
it's
irresponsible,
ridiculous,
perhaps.
isn't it? Yeah. Just a tad. And I mean, I think it's irresponsible of our friend who gave her the pill, he should have been with her when she took it.
Yeah, you should
To keep an
always
eye on it. He's responsible for it. He gave it to her.
always have a spotter.
Yeah, I don't know, it's crap.
Yeah.
But that's not a B.
No.
Yeah, this is our loose format.
Yeah, we tend to go off on tangents.
It was a natural thing. I've just realised that I do just fiddle. Yeah.
Well,
But it's ridiculous, like people watching while I'm fiddling down there. I'm just playing with my jeans, honest, like my leg.
Yeah, he hasn't got his dick.
It is like a thing I do. I've noticed I do it when I'm brushing my teeth. Like my other loose hand, my spare hand is always scratching, and I end up making myself sore.
See, I tend to just
Pockets. Yeah, I suppose that's a good way to do it. But yeah, B. Oh, let's go for my one.
Okay,
B.
come on. Let's get into it. This is the ABCs of ABH.
Bon Jovi.
B.
Bon Jovi. Yeah, this is something nobody knows about. But Richie Sambora has pulled out of the most recent tour for personal reasons.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. That's just a news story. And when I first heard it, I assumed he was back in rehab because a few years ago he pulled out of a tour because he was in rehab, substance abuse. I'm not sure if it was alcohol or drugs. I think it was alcohol. But where was it? Yeah, he failed to join his bandmates on stage in Canada in Tuesday night. Well done, Mail Online. On Tuesday night. An indefinite hiatus while he deals with personal issues. Where is it? It says this was on Tuesday night, this gig that he missed. But he didn't tell the band until 3:30 that day that he wasn't going to join them. I mean, there was a rumour, like I heard he'd actually left the band, but I've been looking online for it all day and there's nothing about it. About him leaving the band. But yeah, he's actually just cancelled the tour, which is annoying because we're going to go and see them later this year in Hyde Park.
So do you think they're going to cancel that, or do you reckon they'll
they're not. They didn't cancel that gig.
Oh, right. Oh.
They actually went ahead with the gig without him, and they've actually replaced him with a guitarist called Phil X.
Okay.
He's really good. He replaced it.
No relation of Skrillex.
No, well, not as far as I know. But he looks. He's got loads of YouTube. If you look up Phil X on YouTube, that's PHIL space X.
Yeah.
Phil X. If you look him up on YouTube, he's got loads of videos, but he's like a proper surfer dude.
Oh, really?
But he's looks like a metaler. He's got like the goatee, black goatee with the black
So
hair.
he's gonna fit.
He's an amazing guitarist. But he filled in last time, Richie Sambora, when he went into rehab. But yeah, he's going to fill in this time again. He's really good. But apparently he is going to come back. They think he might come back for this tour. So he might be back before Europe. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, because
that's what happened last time. We went to see them on that tour as well when he went to rehab. But he actually came back for the O2 gig we went to.
Okay.
Which nobody knew until we didn't know.
Okay.
Nobody. I don't think anyone knew if he was actually going to be at that gig. It was only when they came out and he was there. But yeah,
you want to see the proper lineup, don't you? Let's face it.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen him 5 or 6 times already. So, it might be good. I like Phil X. I think he's an awesome guitarist, so I'd be quite interested to see him as well. But yeah, I think that would be my B.
Okay.
I think I didn't really have any other Bs. Did I say any others to you that occurred? I don't want to stand up, so we won't mention my belt buckle that I got in Camden. Batman belt buckle. It's just the Batman logo, the Tim Burton Batman logo.
But that kind of ties in with mine, which is just Batman as a whole, really.
What other B is there?
Yeah. Batman for me has always been the superhero that I really, really enjoyed watching or whatever. And it's weird. As I started listening to a podcast by a person called Kevin Smith, and it's called Fat Man on Batman. And actually, through listening to that, I kind of think back to my childhood, and I'm like, actually, I used to watch all that, and I used to. Yeah. The only thing I didn't do was the comics until recently, where I've started getting more into graphic novels and stuff like that. But yeah, listening to this podcast has kind of made me think, well, actually, yeah, he's kind of just that character has always been around.
It's had that effect on me as well.
And it's weird, isn't it? Because I remember when I know they they show the '60s Adam West
all the time
versions now on ITV4.
Yeah,
but I remember them. Yeah, but I remember them being played when I was a kid as well, and
they were repeats then as
well.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the crazy
it was
thing.
probably the third or fourth time it had been repeated.
Yeah, it was,
there were only
was
like
it late
20
80s, early
episodes
90s. I remember it from. And I always remember the movie. My cousin was always watching the movie, and I always remember him hanging on to that boy.
Bomb.
Is the boy?
Oh, yeah.
When he's holding on to the boy, he's got the shark repellent,
That's
the
right,
classic
the
shark
shark
repellent,
bit.
and then you get
Yeah.
Robin coming with the back copter and dropping the ladder down. And I always remember that. Oh, isn't it? When he's climbing up, does the shark jump out?
It's air jaws, doesn't it? It kind of jumps out of the water and grabs hold of his leg.
Yeah, he grabs hold of his leg, but it's fine. His leg's fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't sink its teeth in.
No, it's no blood.
But
it was a family show.
I just butted in on your.
No, it's cool. Because it's a thing that we both share. And that's kind of the
definitely.
point, really.
Yeah, because was it one of our first live stream? I had the Batman jumper on.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That was the Adam West.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was.
And then as well, early 90s, I used to watch Saturday morning TV, and on Saturday morning TV was Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
Which had come off the tails of the Tim Burton film.
Yes.
Of 1989.
I want to say that, yeah.
Which obviously I was too young to watch at the time. But I watched the animated series, knew there was the Tim Burton film, but I don't know whether I don't know when we got it first, the Tim Burton film, but when I saw that, it was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because it was like the cartoon, but with real people.
Yeah, so you were more drawn to the darker Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, the animated one, it was good.
The animated one is dark.
Oh, not the animated one. Sorry, the Adam West one. Yeah.
There's always going to be a place in my heart for the Adam West version, but it's kind of dated.
It's got more of a nostalgia thing.
That's
like
right.
You watch it now and you're kind of like, oh my god, I remember this.
But you watch it now through another prism. You see it like it's not as awesome. It's way more camp.
Yeah.
And it's actually way more funny.
Yeah, as in like it was supposed to be tongue in cheek funny.
And when you were a kid, you thought it was kind of not serious, but like it was.
But as a kid,
you can't see the humour in it. You can't see the campiness.
Yeah, and you've got no sort of frame of reference for sort of like serious programming.
Yeah,
I mean they do now. Kids do now. Like if I've showed it to my daughter now, I mean she'd probably enjoy it because it's colourful and fun. Yeah. She wouldn't like we used to watch it kind of like, oh my god, is he going to get out of it this time?
The zap and the zock and the pow and
yeah, and to us that was cool.
Yeah.
But now you're watching, it's kind of like that's hilarious.
Yeah, because it's just it was made on a shoestring and they just made the best with what they had, and that's what I quite like about it. It's charming. I mean, even the fact that Cesar Romero never used to shave his moustache off as the Joker, like
yeah, oh yeah.
And the Penguin was played by Meredith Burgess, who was Rocky's trainer in the Rocky films.
See, this is where I'm going to kind of go down. I don't really remember much about Rocky. I don't know if I've even seen it all the way through.
Have you not?
Like all the old classic things like Rocky and Rambo and stuff like that.
Rambo
I hadn't seen until a year ago, and I only actually saw half of it.
Yeah, I'm not a Rambo fan really. Rocky, yeah. Although only really 1 to 3.
See, I don't know which one I've seen. I remember. Did he at the end of one of them? Did he fight in an octagon? Was that another film?
I have no idea.
I don't know. It might have been another film. Know. Anyway, but that's not Batman.
But exactly, and so the animated series came out, and that really kind of pricked my attention. I never watched any of the follow-up ones. I'm a bit like that with cartoons.
But like the Batman and Superman.
Like Batman and Superman, or even Batman Incorporated, or the Future one.
Oh, that's the newest one.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Although that's out. Yeah, now. But yeah, I kind of it was that.
Is that the Batman in the red and black?
I think
the black
so.
suit with the red bat across it, and it's
more
more skin, like more wetsuit than armor. Yeah.
Yeah. But then it was the Tim Burton films, and again they were great. I still stand by the first one. Batman Returns. I feel
I haven't watched them in so long.
I got them all on Blu-ray a couple of summers ago and watched them all back to back.
Yeah, I think I might have to get those. I'll be selective about which ones I get.
The first one,
because I've got the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
And I haven't got any of the others on. I did have Batman Forever on video.
Now you see, Batman Forever, I still have a fondness for, because it was
in the same way that you have a fondness for the Adam West Batman.
Yeah, precisely. It's camp and it's over the top. I mean, it's got Jim Carrey as a bad
the
guy,
Riddler.
so
He was. I really liked him.
He was massive at the time as well. I mean, he was probably one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. I mean, he was coming off the back of The Mask and
Ace Ventura.
Yeah. So to have him as a villain, but it was just it was when it got to Batman and Robin, where they had Batman, Robin, Batgirl against Poison Ivy, Bane, who was shit.
He was just one of a.
He was a henchman,
wasn't it? But wasn't that what he was anyway? A henchman. Like originally in the comics, didn't he start as a Poison Ivy's henchman?
Possibly.
I'm sure I heard that one.
I'm not, like I say, I wasn't really as much into the comics as I was into the animated stuff. I wasn't a kid who would read comics when I was when I was younger.
I was, but it used to be me and my cousin going to the comic shop and grabbing like the bargain, like get 5 comics for like 50p.
Right.
And it wouldn't be it wouldn't be like I'm going to get myself 5 Batman comics. It was like, here's 5 comics, give me 50p, and you kind of get like an X-Men.
Yeah.
A couple you've never heard of, and you might get a Punisher in there as well. And it was just like a big mishmash of, we need to get rid of these.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've still got a couple of them actually upstairs.
All right.
I think I've got a Wolverine one. Possibly. I don't know.
Because I think I started my graphic novel-ing with Watchmen.
Yeah.
Was the first one I ever had, and then I read 300 as well. So it was kind of a Frank Miller thing that I had going on. Because Frank Miller did Watchmen, didn't he? No, it's Alan Moore.
Yeah. Where's it gone? I've got a Cool Kids one on this one. Oh, of course. There it is, yeah. Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons. I knew it was there somewhere. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, so I've always kind of... And like, Watchmen is a bit on the darker side, and 300 is quite full on. And then that kind of led me more recently to Batman graphic novels, because I just thought, I've never done it. Why is it that I've gotten to like my 20s and love all the films and the cartoons that have come out, but why have I never read? I
do love comics, but I've never sat and read them a lot.
No.
I might read one every so often, and I actually joined the library last year with my daughter, and I actually got some graphic novels out. I read like a Punisher graphic novel. I did grab some Batman ones as well, but then I kind of do my usual thing and kind of procrastinate on reading them, and they've got to go back now.
Yeah.
It's like Watchmen. I started reading, I got maybe a third of the way through, started procrastinating it. I think I got to a part of the book where you've got the newspaper clippings, and it's like, I can't. I just can't do it. I mean, you don't have to read the newspaper bits, do you?
No.
They do help the story, but you don't have to read them. And I just kind of got to one, and I was just like, I'll read that tomorrow.
And you didn't.
And tomorrow never came.
See, I'm quite good with stuff like if I've got the time, I'll read one from cover to cover in one sitting.
Yeah.
But that's having quite a lot of time, because I quite like to look at the artwork as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because that's the thing with comics over the films. You can choose to kind of linger on a shot, whereas the films are like, this is happening, this is how we're displaying it, and then on with the story kind of thing. And that obviously they have to, because they've got a time frame. Whereas when you're reading, you can take as long as you like.
Oh yeah.
I've got a couple. I bought a couple in as my show and tell. Yeah. One being Frank Miller's.
Whoa.
One being Frank Miller's Batman Year One.
And hopefully you can see that.
You might be able to see that. I
just
don't know.
stick it in the middle, yeah.
Which.
And if you can't see that because we're just in your ears, then get on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Go to YouTube and see it. I mean, it's effectively after Frank Miller wrote The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Which is old Batman gets back in the saddle and kicks ass and beats Superman up and stuff. It's like
But
the
not-
ultimate Batman graphic
Yeah.
novel. This is where they were essentially rebooting the franchise, like they've done now with the new 52s.
Yeah, which I've actually started reading. I can show you something on here in a minute, actually.
So this has got like a much more. He got another artist in to do it, so it's not quite as psychedelic. But the artwork in it's fantastic, and it's kind of it's Bruce Wayne coming back to Gotham, and essentially trying to take up the mantle again. He kind of builds himself up. He doesn't really appear as Batman until quite a way in, properly. But when he does,
So a bit
it's
like the
kind of-
Dark Knight,
the
Dark Knight
Dark
Rises,
Knight Rises, yeah, where he
where you get to about half an hour and you're like, is this a Batman? Isn't this a Batman film? Where the hell is Batman?
Yeah, precisely. It's
Oh, there he is, limping along.
It was a strange, he's got a bum leg,
Yeah.
which he fixes with a magic brace. But they take a bit out of that. You know that bit where he is... he straps the thing on his leg and then kicks through a wall.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
He essentially is training by trying to knock down a tree
Yeah, he's kind of split a tree.
with his.
Show
He
the
doesn't
YouTube
he doesn't
people.
have a magic brace, but he kind of knocks down a tree with his with his powerful kicking, and he
crazy.
punches through bricks. So I hope you saw that. I don't know whether that lined up.
Yeah, it should be
But,
right.
but yeah, I mean it's brilliant, and also it follows the career of Commissioner Gordon moving into Gotham and becoming a
Oh, wow.
detective. Weirdly though, he's married to Barbara,
Yeah, you said that before.
so I
Isn't Barbara-
don't quite understand that, and she's pregnant with his son. So Barbara Gordon in this isn't his daughter, who then becomes Batgirl. I don't understand.
But that's the beauty of comic book writers. They kind of have.
Well, they got.
Well, when you're
reign,
allowed to
really.
reboot the series, as long
You
as
can-
the same, like she's the same character.
Yeah,
Well,
she may well
I mean, she's
become-
not, is she? Because she might do in that timeline, but
Yeah. And then the other one I've brought in is actually it's not really a Batman book at all. It's actually called Joker, and it's all about the Joker.
that artwork
And,
looks awesome.
Again, the artwork in this is amazing. That's it by Brian Azzarello, and drawn by Lee Bermejo, I think. Bermejo,
But yeah,
probably.
look at
Yeah.
us with our geek credentials.
I know. But yeah, basically this one is essentially written from the point of view of like a low-level thug who goes to bring Joker home from Arkham Asylum after he's been released.
The weird thing is in there, it kind of looks, it's like a cross between the Jack Nicholson and the Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, you've got the kind of bright colours of the Jack Nicholson Joker, but with the facial scarring and psychosis of the Heath Ledger Joker. I mean, it's taken a lot of inspiration from Heath Ledger's Joker.
So was that actually released after?
Yeah,
Dark
it was. I want to say it was 2000 and something. It's quite recent.
Oh my god, that's slow. That's slow.
2008. In
2008.
fact, so it's very recent.
I'm trying to think, when did the Heath Ledger Batman came out though?
2005. 2004.
Has it been out that long?
Yeah, the first one. Oh no, the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Give me 2 seconds while you're talking about that.
Yeah, it's very, very graphic. I mean, Harley Quinn in this is a stripper, and the first time you see her, she's just got a coat done,
Oh, is that her?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and then she does like a big strip tease, and then puts on the mask rather than taking it off.
That is awesome.
And it looks fucking sweet. I mean,
Yeah.
Again, I'll kind of show that up there for all the geeks wanting to get off a little bit.
Who hasn't wanted to get off to Harley Quinn?
Well, precisely. And then right after that, Joker rips the skin off a policeman who's in the bar, and it's graphic as anything.
Yeah, just slightly. What kind of
But
find
again,
it?
you've got all the major villains are in it. Killer Croc, Penguin. I believe Two-Face is in here somewhere as well. But yeah, it's just they're two of the ones that I've bought more recently.
Dark Knight 2008.
Same year.
So was it released as kind of like a companion?
Quite possibly, like it's before the Dark Knight, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know how.
That's some research we may have to do.
Maybe.
Yeah, I was going to show you because when you mentioned about the new 52 Batman, have you actually ever seen these comic apps on the iPad?
No, I haven't. They look amazing. They look really good.
I don't think I've got. Oh bloody! I haven't got that set on. Hang on. Give me 2 seconds.
The wonders of technology.
Oh, guided view is on. That's weird. It's not doing it. But yeah, guided view, what it's supposed to do. So I have to show to them as well. Hopefully they can see it. So where you've got this whole page, on the iPhone it does it as a default because it's a smaller screen, but you've got the whole page so you can read it like that. But what you can do is...
Oh, I see.
So if I double tap, that's how I'll get into it. So it kind of... Because sometimes it's hard to read comics.
Yeah.
But this actually
it
goes panel to panel.
On the panel. So
and then you can set it to show the whole page on the exit, but that's gone on to the next page.
I see.
Because I turned the guided view off.
Right.
Page on enter and exit. So you got... So there's the page on enter. And you go... So you read the... And it kind of takes you through the whole thing so you can... And I think that's freaking awesome.
It's a really good idea because if it were just on the page like that, on the iPad like that...
Sometimes you're not sure where to go.
But also as well, you can see the detail as well. You can really zoom in on the detail and see, you know...
And it is awesome. But yeah, I've got the first 3 issues of the Court of the Night Owls storyline, and I need to get the rest, but they're so expensive. You'd think they'd be cheaper on here.
They're not.
But they're not much cheaper at all. They're still like £1.69 or something
really?
stupid like that. So it is a lot. I wanted to get into the Walking Dead comics because I like the TV series, but they're
many.
up to, oh my god, I don't even know what issue they're up to now.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can buy them as like the volumes. Here we are. There's like the whole volume of collected works of The Walking Dead. 17.
Wow.
Like
that's a lot.
Graphic novel size things, and it's $6.99. 17 of them. And I think most of them are $6.99.
Right.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's an expensive hobby.
It is a very expensive hobby.
But this is because, you know, comic book culture have become, you know, massively mainstream. But I think they were always expensive.
Yeah, I think
for like, you know, the series especially, you know, the collections of stories.
Sometimes it's worth the money, but not when there's 17 issues of it. I mean, there's 17. That's like if you buy them all at $6.99, that's nearly like £1,200.
It's true.
That's not 12.
What? Yeah, really?
Yeah, because 10 issues would be $699.
Yeah, no,
$60.99.
So
£120.
Once again, our math skills.
Yeah, let's go. I'm sure they were more than that when I looked before.
Each one was 60 quid.
Yeah, let's go. Oh yeah, hang on. This was something we spoke about a couple of weeks ago. Was it Bloss?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. I got, because we've done the ABCs now.
That's that.
We could go more in depth, but I think it would bore the pants off a lot of people. One of my friends last week, when we put out a desperate tweet or Facebook
it was the week before
or something. Sorry.
2 weeks.
Asked how it was that Teflon sticks to frying pans, yet, you know, food slides off it. So I said that I'd do some research, and Steve, I have done some research. I've pulled up chemistry.about.com.
I love that website, about.com.
Yeah.
Have you actually looked at the website as a whole?
I've never really used it as a whole. Is it good?
Brilliant. Yeah, it's lots of basically freelance, right? Like, say you're a writer.
Yeah.
Not say you are a writer. You enjoy writing. You've got a journalism degree.
Yeah.
You're a writer.
I do write.
Yes. If you had a specialist subject that you were into, say like Batman, you're an expert on Batman, you could apply to be about.com's writer about Batman, and you can. That's all you write about. So this person is a chemist.
Yeah, Anne-Marie Helmenstein, PhD.
Yeah, so she is a chemist.
Yes.
So she's a writer for about.com on chemistry.
Yeah.
And she applied for the job there, and she got the job, and you get paid. I think they pay you on your Google ads and stuff like that.
Right. That might
it's
be
a good website. So there's
in
lots
that
of
case.
specialist
I'll start to think about things that I might have a specialism in, seeing as I'm looking for jobs, and I might get onto that later.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I just Googled it, and it was the first thing that came up. I'm lazy.
At least it wasn't Wikipedia.
But it's not Wikipedia, which is a break.
And this is an expert.
Yeah.
Who's explaining it? It's not somebody who goes, I think it's.
Yeah, this is verified by an actual doctor with a PhD and stuff. So Steve, if you're listening, this is how it happens. So Dr. Anne-Marie Helmenstein writes, Teflon is DuPont's brand name for polytetrafluoropolyethylene.
What nice.
Polytetrafluoroethylene.
Fluoroethylene.
Or
yeah.
PTFE.
I like that, PTFE.
Yeah. A fluoropolymer in which the fluorine atoms are so tightly bonded to the carbon atom that everything else slips right off. It's a miracle of modern chemistry that you encounter whenever you use non-stick cookware. But if Teflon is non-stick, then how do they get it to stick to pans in the first place?
Ooh.
You might guess Teflon somehow sticks to metal better than it does to eggs, but in reality the polymer slides right off metallic surfaces too. So it's a good question, Steve.
It's a very good question.
In order to get Teflon to stick to a pan, the metal is sandblasted. Sorry.
And Batman was boring.
A primer coat of Teflon seeps into the tiny holes and cracks. The Teflon is baked into the pan. It doesn't stick to the metal, but the plastic has a hard time working its way out of the nooks and crannies. A finishing layer of Teflon is applied and baked onto the primed surface. Teflon has no trouble polymerizing with itself, so this layer bonds to the prepared pan without any problems. So Teflon doesn't stick to anything else but itself. So if you can create enough holes and scrapes and stuff with sandblasting the metal, then some of it will stick there. And then you
it's kind of
stick the Teflon to the other Teflon.
So like the first coat is held in just by how much it's compacted.
Yeah.
So it's kind of expanding into the nooks and crannies.
Yeah. And then
I would imagine.
Then the glaze.
So it's forced in there so tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the glaze, essentially,
So then when they put the final coat on, it's not sticking to the metal, it's sticking to the Teflon that's forced into the nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then there's a guide to keeping your Teflon in place. If you would like to hear some more,
you
can ruin your
Teflon.
Teflon
my non-stick pans to stay non-stick.
Exactly, and you can ruin your Teflon coated pan in two ways. You can damage the Teflon coating or scratch beneath it if you use metal utensils or too much force stirring or scraping food. The other way to ruin the pan is by applying too much heat, which can happen if you burn your food or heat the pan without any food in it. When too much heat is applied, the carbon bonds break, releasing fluorocarbons into the air, and this isn't great either for the pan or your health. So non-stick cookware shouldn't be subjected to extremely high heat.
Damn you, fluorocarbons.
Yeah.
You've been ruining my
they're
non-stick pans.
They're brilliant for frying pans, but don't heat them up too.
So Teflon is a brand name
for what's it gone?
Yeah.
Polytetrafluoroethylene.
Fluoroethylene, I would think.
God. Yeah.
Polytetrafluoroethylene.
PTFE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Americans have popularised a brand.
Yeah.
Funny. By saying this is a Teflon coating. No,
it's not. It's PTFE.
Yeah. I was going to go for it. It's probably because Teflon's a lot easier to say as well.
Yeah, I think so.
So there you go.
So there you go.
Thank you for that Collins. 10 minutes of amazing. It's the sad thing is I like programs like how it's made, so that is interesting to me. I'm quite glad now that I know how Teflon sticks to metal. Now
when someone asks you that question, you can answer them.
Oh, it's not actually Teflon.
No, it's actually
polytetrafluoroethylene. Yeah, fluoroethylene. Polytetrafluoroethylene.
Yeah.
It's got a nice rhythm to it. Yeah, I'm not going to do it again. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, so that's that. So Steve, there you go. That's how Teflon sticks to pans.
You're welcome.
But not food.
You can tune back in now.
Yeah. We're back in the room. Do you have anything else? Because
Yeah.
I do. I mean, seeing as
I'm going to go for a HuffPost.
I've talked
weird
for a
story.
while.
Is it a weird story? I don't know if this is even in weird stories. Topless Jihad Day.
Brilliant.
Jihad or jihad?
Jihad.
Jihad. Topless Jihad Day.
Uh-huh.
What is? See, I don't know what femin is.
I would imagine it's a female.
I think it's like a
organisation.
feminist, but it's anyway. There was this woman. Oh, you're going to look it up.
Yes,
Amina Tyler. Hang on, Tunisian woman. So this femin activists have declared 4th of April Topless Jihad Day. So that was yesterday.
Yep.
As a gesture of support for a Tunisian woman who was threatened with death by stoning for baring her breasts online. Amina Tyler ignited a storm when she posted images of herself with the words "fuck your morals" written across her chest to the Femin Tunisia Facebook page. Yeah, so basically what's happened, this group, that's her there, fuck your morals, yeah. So, like, lots of women now have...
Sorry.
Tislamism. Free Amina. Yeah. Basically, lots of women yesterday got their tits out with like messages of support for this woman. I just went for it because it's kind of funny.
It's funny, and there are boobs.
And it's political again.
Yeah, we're doing politics.
Not that we do politics.
If you want to help out the cause, then go to femen.org. That's FEMEN.org.
Yeah, we've missed the day.
Yeah.
The Topless Jihad
I'm sure
Day.
there's some place where you can, donate.
Yeah, where is it? There was a whole thing about like when she done it, and then some guy said she needed to be killed or something for doing it. Yeah, what's this? Promising the event will mark the beginning of a new Arab Spring, the message urges, come to the embassy of the Republic of Tunisia and protest topless with "My body against Islamism" written on your body. It adds, long live the topless jihad against infidels, our tits are deadlier than your stones.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so she was kind of... it's just feminism, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's against religious persecution. Yeah. I just thought that was quite funny and interesting, and it's about boobs.
Yeah. Well, there's not enough boobs on this programme. There's not enough women on this programme. Yeah,
we did have an email about that, saying about that. I mean...
so we've decided to talk about tits.
Yeah, there you go. There's your thing. But we did talk about it. It is true. There's not many women, but does our podcast lend itself to women? A female guest could bring something else.
Yeah. When we find...
And it's not that we don't want women on the podcast.
I was going to say something awful that I'd regret.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But it's not that we don't want women on the podcast. It's just... If you are a female listener out there, you could suggest someone.
Yeah, if you've got anything interesting to say...
And you live nearby.
Or can travel, then by all means drop us an email at abhpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
About what you want to talk about, and we'll see whether or not we fancy it.
That wasn't forced.
No.
we could always try a Skype interview with a woman.
That
we are very
any old woman.
Yeah, we just get on Facebook and go, "Do you want to come on our podcast using Skype?"
No, but in all seriousness, like the three people that we've had on this podcast, have been men, because we know that they're... I don't know. I don't...
I think it is... the first guest, Corky, was just someone we were thinking about having on anyway, just because he's generally quite funny.
Yeah.
Loz, because he interacted with us on Facebook about the podcast.
Yeah.
He lives around the corner, and it was just kind of, "Do you want to come on?" He was
all
right then.
And he's got stories.
And it's funny. And last week, Ben, if you listen to the podcast, you know why we had him on.
Yeah, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that guy, was made to be interviewed. He's just an incredibly...
And he's got stuff to promote.
Yeah,
he's a musician. He's got music to promote, and he is an interesting guy.
If you are a talented female artist in any kind of thing that you've got something to promote, then drop us an email, and we'll be more than happy to accommodate you.
In a manner of speaking.
Yeah, but obviously you might have to put up with the bawdiness that comes along with it. We talk about boy stuff.
Yeah. And I think, to be honest, words, English is my first language. When we do have Ben on again next time for the release of their album, hopefully Christina will come on as well.
Yeah. And maybe even, I don't know, because are the musicians part of the band, or is it just really
I think
Ben and Christina?
Mooley is Ben and Christina, but they do have a live band.
Yeah,
they do have a band that goes out.
Talk to Gary Newman's guitarist as well.
That's a very good point.
I actually, I didn't bring it up last week, but I queued up at Thorpe Park for a ride next to him once.
What, Gary Newman?
And his band, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was there with some friends from school. I guess we must have been, I don't know, somewhere between 16 and 18.
And you were like...
And it was weird. We were queuing up for one of the less intense rides. I can't remember exactly which one it was now. But there were these kind of gothy guys next to us in the queue. And... I mean, we were all kind of, grungers or metalers or whatever you want to say.
I had that at work. Sorry, I'm going to interrupt quickly. There was a guy. They were at work, a conversation about going to a strip bar or something. I was like, it's kind of never really interested me. Yeah. Kind of seedy, especially stories that I've heard. Yeah. From Tom.
I've never been, but I knew enough people who had at university.
Yeah, but yeah, there's stories you hear about, and it's kind of seedy. Would you go out then? Well, I don't really go out. Why not? It's like, because nowhere plays my kind of music. And he was like, oh, what music do you listen to? And then I went, I'm a grunger. Just kind of like, I can't be asked to say rock music. Oh, you're a grunger then? Yeah. I'm just going to fucking own it. No, I'm not a grunger.
No.
I mean, I do like Nirvana, but I'm not.
I don't really like grunge music.
Apart from Nirvana.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam.
A bit of Pearl Jam, a bit of Alice in Chains.
But yeah, it's not my first choice of music. But the easiest way, if I listen to music with guitars, distorted, then I'm a grunger. Yeah. I fucking hate that term. Yeah. But you saw...
hold on, I'll finish that. Go on. Right. So there were these guys stood next to us anyway. We had a look, and I kind of was like, that looks like Gary Newman. And it was weird, because you don't often see Gary Newman anymore. I mean, they're not big.
No.
He had a brief resurgence in the early 2000s. He appeared on the Graham Norton show, of all things. It was really, really odd. Yeah. But it must have been roughly around that time, because he was on my mind. I recognised him in a crowd.
Yeah.
Because before that, you're looking at, here in my car, and he doesn't look a lot like that anymore.
No.
But yeah, and it was, and none of us spoke to him, so that was a really.
Because you get shit scared.
Yeah, precisely. You can't approach a rock star.
I've had that where not quite on the same level, but I was taking a day off school and I had to go to work with my mum. She worked in a chemist in town, and I was just sat there, I don't know, reading a magazine or helping price something up, and I kind of heard this guy with like a Yorkshire accent. You know where this is going, because you know a local guy who's actually from Yorkshire. And he was stood there and he was talking on his phone, and it was quite obviously his wife, because I don't know where I can find them. I'm not going to do a Yorkshire accent.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked and I was like, fuck me, that guy's it's Vic Reeves.
Oh yeah.
He was just stood right next to right, talking to, obviously it was Nancy Sorrell. He was talking to her on the phone, and I was just like, I know that guy.
That's quite cool.
It is just, that was a bit weird. Yeah, and I mean, Maine's saying there's quite a few celebrities.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Baker used to always
he used to
be
buy his
town.
newspaper from the shop my mum worked in. Every morning he would walk into town.
Spencer's as well, yeah.
He'd walk into town, and but like Tom Baker, if you don't know, like
was Doctor Who.
Yeah,
you should know.
One of,
and also the voice of Little Britain.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Much like many people have like a secondary career. Mark Hamill was Luke Skywalker and the voice of the Joker. Tom Baker was Doctor Who
but
and
now
the voice of Little Britain.
is the Joker a secondary thing to Luke Skywalker?
Now they're in.
I think in terms of like...
He's probably made more money off the Joker.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. In terms of like recognition, I think Luke Skywalker probably is up like the top.
Yeah, obviously.
But yeah, the Joker I think has earned him a hell of a lot more money. All saying that was it him, Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford all got merchandise rights for Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
He sounds like he has more fun as the Joker anyway.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely does. Wow.
Mm.
Book. We've got like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I had one more, although it's about Easter, and Easter's kind of gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's not do that. Sod it. I've vetoed it. No, I mean,
Well, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Could we do that quickly?
Yeah, I think so. Basically, while we were all gorging ourselves on chocolate eggs and all the rest of it over Easter, spare a thought for women in Slovakia, because their Easter traditions are a little bit more unconventional.
To say the least.
Basically, what happens to women in Slovakia at Easter, they get beasted, essentially. I don't know many other words for it. They essentially get ice cold buckets of water thrown over them, chased down the streets, and then whacked with sticks, like bamboo canes and stuff.
Getting whacked with a bamboo cane, ouch.
Yeah, but
now when you're frozen...
when you're freezing cold, it's going to be much worse.
I can't imagine they hit them very hard. Like, that's...
Well, it says Slovakia's men splash women with water and hit them with willow, not bamboo, to evoke youth, strength and beauty for the upcoming spring season.
Does it not still whip?
It must do. I mean, willow is a bendy reed.
It's like
thing,
really thin and bendy. That's going to...
But it makes them,
I was going to say that's going to cane.
It makes them youthful and beautiful and things, apparently, for the spring.
No, it doesn't. It covers them in bruises.
But
in Wales.
It says, in some regions, the buckets have been replaced by perfume or water pistols, so slightly less drenching.
Depends. If the perfume sprayed in your face.
I mean, yeah, that's like macing someone and then hitting them with sticks.
Okay. But take away the cold water, take away the perfume, take away the water pistols, you are still getting whipped.
Yeah. It's still some kind of weird sadomasochistic thing. But then afterwards, the women reward the men with Easter eggs, fruit and money.
They reward the men? Congratulations, you caught me. Here's some chocolate.
Thank you so much. I'm so cold and hurt. Here is an egg.
That's not nice.
So be thankful, ladies, that you don't live in Slovakia.
Be grateful for your Maltesers or your friend Russia.
That shit happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't get away with it.
Not at all. Not here. Not in the PC nanny state that is the UK. Political.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you write S's on all those?
Yeah, I did. And the short ones. There's medium ones.
Nice. Fucking look at that. Organised.
What I think, did we mention it on the podcast?
We did say that you were going to bring in a book, but it hadn't arrived yet.
Yeah, it finally arrived. My Man Skills book by Nick Harper.
Because the publisher wanted us to...
Yeah, basically, we got in touch with the publisher to be
not sponsorship.
To read it out. It's not sponsorship.
But they said, we can use it if we mention them.
Yeah, and it's Michael O'Mara books.
Right.
So, by all means, visit Michael O'Mara's website.
Which we will put links to below the video in the description.
I should have...
I went YouTube first. Below the video.
Here.
In description. And on our website.
Yeah, but basically, actually, it's a really, really helpful book. It's something that I've read through and laughed. There's a lot of, there's a lot of humour in it. But in actual fact, there's some really interesting things. Like, for example, how to wire a plug, or how to change a tyre on a car, or how to tie the perfect Windsor knot and stuff.
That is
all useful.
It is very useful. And, like when I've needed to tie a tie, I think it was, unfortunately, it was for a funeral. I didn't want to go for the basic school knot, which I think is a half Windsor.
I think so.
Because it kind of gives you a slanted thing. I wanted to go for a full Windsor. So I did get an app, how to tie a tie. And it would have been useful if it was in a book that I had.
Exactly. Just to hand. You wouldn't have to bother logging onto the
going
internet.
Going and finding first world problems.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. There's people starving in Africa.
Fucking.
I don't know what's wrong with me this week. I
don't know, I went for a fucking meme that's about 2 years old. First world problems.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read
No, go for it.
A couple of extracts.
We were going to try and stick below an hour for our
and
YouTube
then
friends.
Essentially, sorry, we're going to go to an hour again. Forgive us. We'll try for you later on. Anonymous person.
Survey.
Yeah.
Fill her out.
Email us. We want to know who you are.
Defeats the purpose of being anonymous.
Yeah. But he might not want to be anonymous. We've shouted him out a couple of times now.
In that case, while Tom's looking, one of my friends from work did actually leave us a nice iTunes comment.
Oh, right.
He's never listened to the podcast. But he said to me, what's your podcast called? I want to give you a review. And he gave us a 5-star review. And I don't even know. It was a load of gobbledygook.
But thank you to him anyway.
Because it gives us a rating.
Yeah. So that's good. I'm going to do a couple of short ones.
Yeah.
I think there is. It's all basically it's a couple of pages each one. There's literally hundreds of things in this book. How to shake hands properly, how to wire a plug. This one is how to undo a bra using only one hand, which I thought might come in useful for people. I don't know, seeing as this is a lads podcast.
I suppose, yeah, it does kind of. But it's to do with women as well.
Yeah.
Women want to know that their men have got dexterous.
Because
nice
it bodes well for later on.
Yeah, I mean, no, I won't say it. It makes me sound like an arsehole.
Chauvinist pig. But basically, how to undo a bra using only one hand. In the hands of any randy novice, bra straps can maim and possibly even kill. That's not merely scaremongering for the purpose of a more dramatic introduction. It's based on the sorry tale of a young man who needed plastic surgery after catching a finger in the bra of his busty companion. So I didn't take a breath. He was 27 and knew no better, although certainly should have done by that age. And his injuries were serious enough for surgeons to suggest the introduction of bra camps for naive young men. Well, kind of. We advocate excuse me.
English is your first language, obviously, as well.
So. I'm a journalist, what can I say? We advocate patient self-education during the adolescent years on the mechanism of external female mammary support and postulate that it may be important in reducing the incidence of other such injuries, claimed the British Journal of Plastic Surgeons in 2002. Sadly, bra camps have not been forthcoming, and because you're attempting to unhook the external female mammary support with just the one hand, the following guide may just save your life. Step 1. Along with a series of small hooks, tension in the bra strap keeps the garment tight. You'll need to isolate that tension before you can whip the bra clean off. Having slid your hand casually round her back, place thumb and forefinger at the top outer side of the bra on either side of the locked hooks, with your 3 remaining fingers sliding underneath the bra strap. Now, for those of you not watching YouTube, I'm trying to simulate this in the air so that you can.
Whilst looking like he's arthritic.
Yeah, I just look like Mary Berry or something.
It would help if we had like a belt or something that you could pretend was the bra strap. I mean, no. No, we won't go. I'm sure Liz wouldn't appreciate that.
No. Step 2. The 3 fingers should isolate.
Although, if a female does want to come on so we can demonstrate this we're more than happy to have female guests.
I should have written prop on this, shouldn't I? Because I've written prop on some of the others because I need a prop. Oh, damn it. So step 2, the 3 fingers should isolate the tension in the strap by pulling it away slightly from the woman's back with the thumb and forefinger gently squeezing together the hooks. So you've got the bra is loosened.
So you're pulling it, yeah.
Just by having the fingers there anyway, and then you can use the thumb and forefinger to that motion to get the hooks together. If done properly, you should still be injury-free, and the unhooked strap should fall down, and the bra will be hanging free. If you need tips on what to do next, you'll need to buy a mucky book. That one with the bearded man on the front comes highly recommended.
Now, I think it makes it, in text form, it does make it sound pretty confusing.
Yeah.
But if you're
watching,
there are diagrams.
There are diagrams as well. I mean, it's really handy. Like there's one about
the one thing I would say though is if you're using your right hand, you kind of have to. Your thumb has to be slightly closer to the body than your index finger because you need to push them away. They need to your index finger kind of needs to slide over the thumb. you know what?
Yeah.
So not push them together, but kind of make them pass each other.
Yeah. You got to pass
Which that doesn't
the
say.
forefinger over the thumb, really. Yeah. That's from our own experiences.
Whoops. But yeah. But it is very handy advice, and the diagrams the illustrations.
They do help. And in fact,
it does kind of show.
On the second illustration, it shows the forefinger pushing the strap over the top of the thumb.
Yes.
So there's a visual illustration there as well, which would help.
And without even seeing that illustration,
I'm sure you would.
I came up.
You came up with it, you see. So it's all good. What else? I think they don't do public service announcements like this anymore. You get the one at bonfire night now about not poking each other in the eye with sparklers or whatever.
Oh, okay. I haven't been to a fireworks display for a long time.
No, but you get them on the TV, don't you? Those adverts where it's like...
Okay, yeah. And don't walk back to a firework.
Yeah,
that hasn't gone off properly, basically.
But we used to, in the day, have the stop, drop and roll adverts. Don't really remember those.
And Francis Firefly.
Yes. Yeah, precisely. If you don't know what we're looking about, it's probably on YouTube.
Francis Firefly. He was a little firefly, basically. What was it? I can't remember why he was playing with matches.
Yeah, that's
Was it because his glow wasn't working properly or something?
So he was trying to light his glow or something. I don't know.
Well, I can't remember. I remember Francis Firefly.
But then he burnt down his
along with Colonel
house.
Acorn.
Yeah.
Which was the recycling one.
Yes, yeah. But they don't have them anymore. No. So I think another great piece of advice in this book is how to put yourself out when you catch on fire.
Which is a bitch when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's inconvenient to say the least.
Not that it ever happened to me.
Well, sadly, it's inevitable that at some point in your life this will happen, apparently. Nick Harper says so.
Oh, really?
1 minute you're walking past a naked flame, the next you're ablaze, screaming, ah, ooh, ah.
I don't know if I'd be saying ooh.
No, normally. Fuck, more like, you know. You'll need to act fast and think a little more calmly if you're going to avoid becoming a huge fireball and burning to a crisp. Flames need oxygen to survive, so running around is like playing right into the fiery hands. You'll need to snuff the flames out by starving them of oxygen. The easiest way to do this is to jump into a river or heave or have at least a dozen people simultaneously spit on you. Failing that, these 3 crucial steps could be your only hope.
You'd want to hope that those half dozen people were well hydrated.
Yes.
Dozen, sorry. Producing. Yeah, they need to be well hydrated, otherwise there's not going to be a lot of fluid, or they might only be able to get one good.
Yeah, when are you ever around a dozen people who've had that much water?
Yeah, it's true.
It's probably never going to happen.
That is one of the horrible things these days. People don't drink enough water.
They don't. So step 1, stop running around and screaming like a girl. Stay calm and still.
Man up, bitch.
Yeah, man the fuck up. Step 2, drop down onto your front. This helps prevent the flames from spreading towards your face and head, where they'll do some serious damage to your pretty boy features.
That makes sense.
Step 3, finally roll on the ground to stuff the flames out. Deprive them of oxygen and they'll quickly die out. Of course, if you discover someone else on fire, ensure they follow the above procedure, then help snuff out the flames by patting them down with a blanket or jumper at step 3. And then there's a disclaimer, which I suppose we'd better put because the publishers have put it in there.
I should think.
The publishers, Michael O'Mara Books, have put this disclaimer in there. And it says, like most of the entries in this book that involve potentially dangerous or life-threatening situations, this advice is to be used in genuine emergencies only and not to bail out anyone who's just been set alight as a prank.
Yeah, don't set yourself on fire just to try it out.
Yeah.
And looking at your screensaver on your laptop.
I do enjoy a good fire. If you're friends of mine on Facebook, my profile picture at the moment is me standing next to a huge fire that I built in my back garden, which is taller than I am.
Is that the one you done after we recorded that week?
Yes.
Yeah, because you said you were going to do a bonfire. To me, I don't know if you said it on the podcast.
I can't remember. I might have done. Not sure.
I don't know.
But I think we've only really got time for those 2 short ones. Over the next coming weeks, we might read more.
If you like them, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
If not, then it's a bit pointless. But I recommend the book.
Yes.
Because as well as being entertaining, it's actually useful. Like I said, there's some really, really good tips in there I mean, I keep saying wiring a plug, but it's a basic thing that you probably should know how to do.
The thing is, in theory understand how to wire a plug. I've never had to do it, so I've not got the practical experience. It's one of those things that I do when I'm kind of like, I need to do something. I think I know how to do it.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure.
You're not sure. So you'd need.
I asked someone and they confirm, yes, you did know how to do it.
Yeah. So
I've changed the tyre on my own.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm pretty sure I've done it right.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if I've done the. You're supposed to tighten up the nuts opposite.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Aren't you, in like a cross pattern? I don't think I did that.
Oh.
Because I didn't have man skills from Michael O'Mara books.
Because actually this man skills from Michael O'Mara books by Nick Harper does tell you exactly how to do it. And there's also stuff like stuff that how to carve a chicken like a pro, so that you don't get all those flaky nasty bits, so that you can get proper
cook it
cuts.
properly in the first place would help.
But also stuff like, it says how to give a best man speech. I used this book to craft my
I wish I'd had that book.
Yeah, precisely.
Because I shat myself.
But also stuff like how to perform the kiss of life. There's how to perform the Heimlich manoeuvre. These are things that could come in handy.
They're very practical advice.
Day to day, there's also silly things like, how to toss a caber.
How to rugby tackle a thief.
Yeah, how to make a bow and arrow and then fire a bow and arrow. How to deal with a rather nasty cut.
Let's be fair though. Every 6-7-year-old boy knows how to make a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Just cut 2 notches in a twig.
Yeah, precisely.
Put a bit of string in it.
And then there's, there is a section called how to stage dive, and all it says on that is, "Aren't you a little bit old for that by now?"
What's that other one? How to Morris dance?
And it just
fuck off.
So as you can see, both entertaining and instructive.
Yes,
so,
and there will be a link to that.
Yeah,
book,
we'll pop a
I
link up there, and
to the book and to the publisher's website,
and also where to get it. Because I found it really difficult because it's been out for a few years. It's not in bookshops because they don't produce books like this.
Oh, okay.
On a continuous scale, apparently. So
okay.
I had to go through Amazon
because it's got a specialist.
Well, yeah,
it's not a reference book. It is. It's not.
It's essentially. I think it's classed under comedy, but it's not really because it's
informational.
Actually very informational.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they've discontinued it. I think they should. I think they should get their finger out, and maybe demand will soar after this podcast. I would certainly hope so.
Hopefully they'll sell a few more.
Yeah. So we'll pop the link up on the blog, and go and buy it. It's practical and informational and educational and funny. Moreover, so yeah, I hope Michael O'Mara are happy with that.
Fingers crossed.
But yeah, like I say, possibly I've got quite a few in there that are interesting and or funny. So
yeah, we'll read a few more. If you want to hear them, let us know. abhpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, and even if you don't want to hear them, we might not have enough material one week, so
you can hear it anyway. Also, probably some viewer feedback. Like we're thinking, we've said for weeks, and we haven't mentioned in the last 3 weeks.
No, I don't think we have.
We want to give our CDs away.
Yes.
To you people, because we want to get you involved. And one of the ways we were thinking of doing it, so you may have fun with it, and get a free CD at the end of it, maybe, and we benefit from it as well. Because the idea we were going to have was kind of a scavenger hunt, where we basically get you people to carry out tasks which would in turn promote the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get points for each task you do, and you have to send us proof that you've done it. And you might win yourself a CD.
Yeah, essentially the rules are going to be if you post a link to our website on another website, you get a point.
Or if you share it on Facebook or Twitter, you'll get a point. Yeah. If you share it on a forum, you get 2 points.
Yeah.
If you write an iTunes review, you get 5 points. That generally that kind of thing.
And hopefully, if we get stickers and badges, we can. If you want to stick stickers around places, or I'm not going to say graffiti or stick them on public property because that's bad.
Put it in your window, your bedroom window, or put it in your car window.
We don't want you to put it on like signposts in town or
no, that's
on
that's public nuisance, and that would be classed
We're
as
not-
graffiti. I mean, we can't physically stop you doing that. So
No,
if you wanted
but
to do it,
we're not advocating it.
we're not telling you to do it.
No,
But we can't stop you.
no.
But
that
don't
would
do
be. I mean, if you send a picture in of a sticker in your window,
I mean, that
or
may
somewhere
get you
similar,
like 10 points or
yeah,
something.
that might be an incentive to put them about places. But it's basically the first two, however many points we deem fit at the time.
Well, I mean,
We've not come
I
to
think if we set a time limit,
yeah, and
and-
the person with the most points wins.
yeah, or
Or
the top,
the top
three, or
or-
however many of you enter.
Yeah.
If only 3 of you enter, we're not going to give all 3 of you a CD.
We might.
Well, we might.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, we might. So,
Yeah. So
get on it.
get
But yeah, we'll probably talk
posting.
more about that next week once we finalise the details, and we'll
Yeah,
put
but
a
it's
page
just
up.
something to get you a bit more interested. Yeah. And then hopefully, like we've said from the start, we want to kind of get you guys involved a lot more and find out, what you're all about.
Yeah. So if you do like that idea, let us know.
Yeah, and we'll start the thing. If you've already posted on websites and stuff, don't worry, we'll count yours.
But you just
What
have
you've
to
already
take a
done.
screenshot of that.
But yeah, take a screenshot of where you've put it, as long as it's not just your or our websites. Or whatever.
Yeah, no, comments on our website don't count.
iTunes does.
iTunes counts. Comments on our website don't.
No, because it's no one else is going to see it, but people who are
Go to the website,
yeah.
and in that case, they already know.
have seen it. Yeah. So, but that's something we'll finalise, and hopefully next week we'll come up with the proper rules and stuff, and we'll set you on your way.
Yeah, and I think in the next couple of weeks, I want to try and get a theme.
Also, I think that should be maybe done over months rather than weeks, perhaps, just so that people new to the podcast
They can get involved as well, so
and
they have an
don't
equal
feel
chance.
like they're miles behind or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's going to be like an ongoing. I think. Yeah, I mean,
Maybe by year end.
I don't know. That's a bit much. That's a bit much.
Yeah, no, we'll give them like a
End
couple
of summer
months
or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Although maybe we're going to have to think of something in the meantime then, because that's a long time to wait for
Yeah.
a CD. We'll think about it and finalise the details, but we are running very long.
Yeah, we
today.
are. Sorry, yeah. We've had a lot to fit in.
Yeah,
But
because
this is the first time we've both turned up and not been like, oh god, I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yeah, we've probably overdone it.
Yeah, probably. But such is life.
But thanks for sticking with us if you did.
Yeah, hopefully.
This is going to take years to render on YouTube. You fucker.
Yeah. So yeah. All the regular stuff. Find us on Twitter at Hey It's Me Tom.
Hey, it's Ant.
Go to the website at abhpod.com and go, if you're buying stuff through Amazon, please go through our banner and buy your stuff on there through that banner, because then we get a little bit of advertising.
Get a kickback.
Yeah, get a bit of money, which is nice.
Little bit.
Tiny bit. But every little helps.
Have they trademarked that?
Oh yeah, every small amount helps.
Every small amount benefits us.
Yeah.
And you. Yeah, so also on our abhpod.com, if you go to that website, there is a banner.
Yes.
That says
It's
we
the
want
front
to hear
page,
from you.
in
It is the
fact.
front page. When you go to abhpod.com, it's the only thing that's there, other than our Twitter feed on the side. But it says we want to hear from you or something. And what that is, it's a survey that takes about 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know how long it takes to fill out.
Yeah, not more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, not that Tom's filled it out.
I haven't. I know someone who
okay,
has.
you know someone else. Yeah, it takes 5 or 10 minutes to fill out. It tells us about you, and there's also a section to say what you like and what you don't like, and how often you listen and where you listen to it.
And basically through that, we learn what we're
doing
saying.
right or wrong.
Yeah. We learn what you want to hear and what you don't want to hear us talking about. And
we heard from a guy that said he only watches on YouTube, and sometimes the podcasts run a little bit long.
Yeah, and we are listening, but we've just got so much on. We promise to try and keep them under an hour from now on.
Yeah, but
because this is now the longest one yet.
Yeah, so get on it.
Yeah,
email us at abhpod@gmail.com.
Visit us at abhpod.com
and youtube.com/abh podcast.
Yeah. And our Twitters and stuff, it's all on the websites anyway. So for this week number 11, I've been Tom.
I've been Anne.
And this has been Anywhere But Here.
Bye-bye.
Bye.